sure this is the tallest building in the city. I don't know if that is true. We're going to have an exciting conversation today. There's a lot of dialogue that's going on in Tanzania and East Africa, as far as the telco Yas is concerned, formerly known as Tigo Tanzania. Today with me, I'm with Maalumu, the interim chief executive officer of Yas Tanzania, but I'm also with Angelica Pesha, who's the chief officer for Mix by Yas, formerly known as Tigo Pesa. We are going to have an insightful conversation to sort of understand exactly these transitions, what it means for the telco itself, but also for the telecommunication landscape in Tanzania. So, Jerome, welcome to Mwananchi Communications Limited.
Nice to meet you, Mpoki.
Yes, and Angelica, welcome to the conversation as well.
Pleasure.
Okay, so I'm quite sure you're also eager to expound to your customers, to your stakeholders, what this transition means for your business, but also how you work with them on a day-to-day basis. Just to start it all from the top, just give us a bit of an overview about this rebranding from Tigo, which I think you operated under the Tigo brand for close to 20 years, since 2005, and now you are known as Yas Tanzania. Tell us what this transition signifies for your business.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you have seen some of the numbers for the past 2-3 years. We have been growing very fast, and this transition to the new brand is really to accelerate from most perspective the transition to become leading in telecommunication in this market. What we believe is Yas kind of bring a lot of energy, innovation, and inclusivity. We want to touch every people in Tanzania, the youth, especially the youth. Tanzania and Africa is very much a young country and a young continent, and I think it's very important to be able to target this. And we want to stay ahead of the trends. We want to stay ahead of enhancing every day the customer experience, and we want to position ourselves as modern and forward-looking. As an example, we have invested massively the past few years. We have enhanced our coverage drastically. All our towers are on 4G. We are the only one in Tanzania with this kind of level of commitment investment. And we know there is also a demand in fiber. And we are the first big operator in the country who invest in the fiber. We run a pilot in Bweni. Tremendous success. And we are looking to accelerate. So by looking forward to the future, we believe that bringing the brand Yas with us is actually a fantastic opportunity.
So when this news came out and then you started operating under the new brand, we were seeing some definitions that were being shared online, some of it controversial. And I just want to hear from you. Define to us Yas, because there's a bit of excitement when one says Yas.
Yes.
What does Yas mean for the brand?
I mean, Yas brings a lot of excitement. Yas, we want to be seen as a partner of every Tanzanian through the digital experience, the digital experience, and also mobile financial experience. Not everyone understand how to go through it, and we are really seeing ourselves as a partner, just to make sure that we are inclusive and we take care of everyone. And as you know, there is quite a low penetration of smartphone in the market, around 30%. And we are bringing internet in the hands of Tanzanians for the first time. They need to be seen as us as an ally and a strong partner to be able for them to discover this digital world. And this is where we position ourselves.
Okay. Now with Yas comes Mix by Yas. Now, Angelica, over to you. Let's keep getting your mouth.
Yeah.
Not everyone. Can you tell us, explain to us the thought process behind Mix by Yas? What exactly does it mean? And how do you want the customers that you have retained over the years to continue using the fintech service that you're providing?
Thank you very much, Mpoki. Mix by Yas. Yes, it is something that is different. And I know as customers we are used to Pesa. We've seen in the social media people are saying Yas Pesa, and putting Pesa on the name, but the name is Mixed by Yas. And the essence of why it is Mixed by Yas is, if you look at our journey, we're now 14 years. We've grown from a remittance, just sending money and receiving money. That's how we started, into a full-fledged financial service platform. So a platform that brings in the unbanked, which is contrary to the way we started, when mobile money was known for the unbanked. But now we are working with everybody in the community, banked and unbanked, educated and educated, everybody who has a financial need, because we are catering for your daily life financial needs. Hence why we are coming into, it's a platform and no longer a product. So we work with you throughout your financial journey. We are giving you loans, insurance, we give you payment abilities. So this is the essence of why we are putting it, we put everything together.
A mix of all this.
Everything is coming together, and it's something for your life. We're taking care of your financial needs from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. So all sorts of financial services, and for every customer, not just a segment of customers. We are catering for every customer.
Okay, let me just probe a little bit further on that, because we're catering for Tanzania markets, which is predominantly for 99%. So one goes to a POS and then say to them, Mixed by Yas. What would be the ideal short for? The people who have made some suggestions, is it Yas Sasa, would you ever consider maybe sort of refining the name, or is it just stated as Mixed by Yas? That's how it's going to operate.
So, it's a dynamic market. Customers get excited. Customers can play with the word mix. And that is the essence of why we're excited about it. And as we said, we are looking at all customers, but we know the concentration and the biggest chunk of our customers are the youth. So imagine the way you can go to a car and say, mix me up, ni mix. So it's something that you can actually work with and can really catch up customer excitement. Hence why we believe the name Mix itself, Mixed by Yas, but the mix itself can stand on its own, and we'll get, with time, customers are going to be able to get excited with it and use it to their benefit.
Okay. Now, this rebranding is part of a broader Africa vision that Group has, because Yas is available in different countries. I think it's in Senegal, Mauritius, Madagascar,
and Togo.
As well. Yeah, and I think Tanzania is one of the biggest markets for the telco. So can you tell us what is exactly the Africa vision that you have for the business?
Action Group is a pretty young group. We started around 5-6 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and it's really started to grow the footprint. And today, Action Group in a mobile side is and telecom mobile is 5 countries. There is also a tower business. There is other different business. And one of the challenges Action Group had, out of these 5 companies, there was 5 different brands, and it was very difficult to have a unique identifier. And there was a decision to rebrand the 5 companies at the same time. So actually, when we announced the brand to our staff first, before announcing it to the public, it was at the exact same time in the 5 markets. And there was a decision also to keep the brand very secret, for them to have a huge impact. I was at the CEO roundtable last Saturday, and many CEOs there, the rebranding was not expected. They were all very surprised, and this brought a lot of excitement to the market, and a little bit of, okay, why? But it was part of the broader group discussion to create this unique name. And if you look at all our competitors, they have one name for all the markets, and it was important for Action Telecom to do this in order to continue to grow. There is a lot of perspective, there is a lot of work being done in many markets to grow the company, and it was important to have this identity. But in terms of the vision of the group is very similar to the vision we have in Tanzania. Heavy investments in coverage. We want to be the leader in technology in every market. Heavy investment on 4G. All our markets are 100% 4G today. Heavy investment in 5G to make sure that we are able to enable the needs of our consumer and to improve customer experience. But not only but also all the new products that even Angelica pushed with Mixed by Yas, like Nibushi Plus, even the device financing we push. This is group initiative. So being part of the group really helps us to grow product. you know, the Mia Sita Hamsini, the price point we put for device financing, it has been a tremendous success. And this, we would have not been able to achieve it if the group was not there. So it brings a lot of positive aspect.
As we're trying to provide a more clarity around this rebranding, there comes, of course, excitement, but a bit of speculation as well from different folks considering the day-to-day happenings around the country. There's some who might speculate that the rebranding is related to tax-related affairs, tax avoidance, because you're an entity you're invested in Tanzania. Can you clarify for us and maybe put it on record? What strategic approach necessitated the rebranding?
So for us, the rebranding, as I mentioned, was to unify all the brand in all markets. For me, the tax discussion is quite speculative. And one thing which is important, the way we pride ourselves, at least in Tanzania, I believe for the whole group, is to be compliant. And one thing which is important, only the brand changed, but the name of the company remained the same. And what happened the past few years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for the past 3 years, we were part of the club of the 30 largest taxpayers, with more than 1 trillion shilling of taxes. And most importantly, the past 2 years we have been awarded the most tax compliant in the telecom industry. So for us, we believe it is quite speculative. And the rebranding was purely from a strategic point of view to have all the different Action Telecom operation under one brand.
Okay, I think that is clear now. But in the fintech space, it is an evolving landscape in Tanzania and Africa. Back when MNOs got into business and money, we had people from the finance sector, the banking, looking at it as a threat. And now we have other investors who are creating businesses that sort of tend to partner with MNOs. Can you tell us about the growth strategy that you have ahead for Mix by Yas moving forward now that you have rebranded? What does that look like?
It's quite an exciting journey. We've had an exciting 14 years for specific Mix by Yas, and the future is also looking very bright. As you said, at the beginning it was looked at as a competitor to the banks, but right now our biggest collaborators are actually banks. We've come to a point where with the financial services that we are bringing them in partnership with banks and all financial institutions. So we are really a platform and not really looking at a specific segment. So a platform that brings in all financial players in place, all payment players in place. We are working with MasterCard, we're working with Visa, we're working with all payment players, we're working with all the big banks. You can mention CRB, Tanzania. So this is really bringing all the financial players together, because we understand financial needs are only beginning, and with Mix by Yas, it's not only financial inclusion, but we are geared to financial empowerment. So we have included for the last 14 years. Now we want to empower people. How do we make sure your business starts from a small business? We are supporting you to grow your business for entrepreneurs. How are we supporting a student from the day they start school to the day they finish school and they come into becoming employed? So this is what we are looking at, a partner throughout your financial journey as we go on with Mix by Yas.
Okay, so I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the market share for Mix by Yas at the moment stands at 32%, a little bit over 32%, with almost 19 million subscribers, over 19 million subscribers. So at the moment, you are trying to grow the business, and then you look at financial inclusion as a key factor. Can you tell us how, let's say, the next 5 years, right now you have 32% market share, and we're seeing how it's becoming an evolving or growing kind of space. Is there a possibility that sort of be split off into a complete separate entity for you to have that natural scalable growth? What does that look like? And also battle against these other, two other key market players in this space?
Very interesting question and direction as well. So it's something that we are looking at. But the most important part is, what does it mean? How do we bring the best to our customers? Is it through being part of telco or through being a separate entity? So this is something that we'll keep assessing, because what we are looking at is which side will give us the best output for our customers, which side will give us the innovation that is faster. it is something that strategically we are still looking at, and we'll make the decision when we need to make the decision. But the essence, what drives that is the ability to be innovative and to reach our customers even faster. Yeah.
So Europe, I believe Yas is marking 30 years, what's marked 30 years?
As
working in Tanzania, and over the years we've seen the different milestones that she has achieved. Can you kind of list for us in a sentence order, what do you consider to be the most game-changing initiatives, projects, or services that Yas has unveiled in the Tanzanian market, and moving forward, what more exciting services should the customers get?
So one of the very important points, Boki, is we should be very proud of our legacy. We as Yas, we were the first mobile operator in the country. And mobility, first as a big milestone, completely changed life and the way telecommunication works. I mean, before Yas came in Tanzania, there was few fixed line, and if you want to call someone, you need to make appointment. It was quite of a journey to be able to communicate. And for the past 30 years, we have launched 2G, which was just communication with phone, with voice. And then we started to bring internet. I mean, for me, when I mentioned one of the big milestones in the country is access to internet. Why? I saw the difference of a pre-internet and post-internet era, just around education, for example. I saw the Tanzanian skills growing. Why? Because they have access to the same skills as anyone else in the world. And I'm very proud that Yas, through at that time the 3G connectivity and then 4G connectivity, really helped the Tanzanian. And I'm also very proud of what Angelica and Mixed by Yas has done, because digital inclusion is important for the growth of the economy, but the financial inclusion even bigger. And where I'm sitting today, looking at the growth of the country from an economy and from an economic perspective, I'm really proud that Yas has been a strong partner to Tanzania the past 30 years and will continue to be. And as I mentioned, not only by the investment we make, but also by the tax we pay, as I mentioned. In 1 trillion shilling in a couple of years, in 3 years, is quite significant. Also, we invested the past 2 years and a half more than 1 trillion shilling. And most importantly, this 1 trillion shilling, more than half, was actually through local companies. Of course, we are in telecom, so we need to buy manufacturing goods like put antennas on the towers. And you cannot source them in Tanzania, but most of the service and everything we can source from Tanzania, we do. Mm-hmm. And that's why out of the 1 trillion shilling we invested, more than half was coming from a Tanzanian registered company. And for me, it's actually quite important. And because we want to also push the digital and financial inclusion, it's very important for us to be able to reach almost all Tanzanians. I mean, today we have around 94-95% of the Tanzanian population covered by Yas and by Mixed by Yas services. And for me, it's important that we should not forget about rural Tanzania. Rural Tanzania is very important. You have a lot of population who needs this kind of service. And the last point is, we have been also very strong in CSR activity. And we focus on different segments. And the first is empowering young women. So we had a couple of, especially around STEM and coding. We work with an association called Happy Girls. Angelica worked very closely with a women association, for example, the Women Association of Kayako, to improve all the financial skills and the financial understanding. We have worked, one of our long we have been supporting Rita and UNICEF to improve birth registration. And then we also taking care of the environment. You know, we are the proud sponsor of now the Yas Marathon.
Oh, okay.
And when we do this, we partner also with the Kilimanjaro National Park to make sure we reforest also. So we are trying to play in different things around women empowerment, around diversity and environmental. So we are trying to make sure that we do an impact to Tanzania.
So before we go ahead, we talk about 30 years, so those are the decades. And when one tries to assess the challenge that's in the country, there's a lot of misconceptions in terms of different rebrandings that have happened in the years. So Yas Tanzania started off as Motel.
Yes.
And then Tigo that had Fire. And then now Yas Tanzania. But in between Motel and Tigo, there was a certain thing that they call Yas. Which lots of people have the interpretation that it was the name of Hotel. So can you explain that? So many one of the things that you have had many rebrandings.
Well, rebranding for me is part of the journey of companies. And you do rebranding when you feel you need to move ahead with something new. I mean, as you know, we have a new owner who came in 2022 with massive investment over the past 2 years and a half. And it was a time for us to actually go to market and bring something exciting to be able to grow forward and grow further. I'm not able to comment on Buzz and Mobitel, but the Tigo brand actually, if you look back, Millicom Group, who owned the company at the time, had, I think, 15 operations across the world and 15 names. And for them it was also very important to unify the names across all the market, and what they did at the time is exactly what Action Telecom is doing today.
Okay. So Angelica, again, so fintech is something that Tanzania as a country, when you talk about having a digital economy, is part and parcel of that. Can you tell us how do you, what key role will Mixed by Yas play as the government has this overall plan not only to trim the financial inclusion, but also to ensure that we move into a digital economy space whereby the transaction, the purchase of goods and services is done purely online?
And what we have done, and the part we played into creating a digital economy. So I would say Mixed by Yas, by then Tigo Pesa, was the first to bring in interoperability. Something that we actually, usually I say, one of the few things that we export outside Africa. So mobile money itself, but interoperability is something you don't find in our neighbors. So ability to bring everybody and to work together to grow the ecosystem. So that has been a Mixed by Yas initiative from the beginning. We've also been able to bring in loans for the first time to the market. So in 2016, we partnered with a financial player and brought in loans. Now loans have become synonymous with our lives, but we started in 2016. And that also brought a lot of financial empowerment to our customers. We've also been the first to bring in QR codes for payments. We understand if you cannot talk about a digital economy if your payments are not digital. So in enhancing our product and bringing QR codes for payments with the digital apps being used, and also in terms of smartphones. So this was also a very key activity that we have done. But last but not least, we've also been able to bring in financial apps for the first time. So the Tigo Pesa app, which is now the Mixed by Yas app, was the first financial app in the market. Last but not least, as I said before, we are bringing all sorts of customer segments. In 2017, we introduced farmers disbursements. So we went around the country and we were able to register farmers, most of them for the first time, teaching them how to use a smartphone, or how to use their phone, and how to receive funds so that they can start working on digital transactions. So we've been able to support over 50,000 farmers in that area, and we've disbursed over 80 billion shillings. So bringing everybody into the financial space, especially the people who are or were left behind. Jerome has said how we have invested as a company into the rural areas. And for Mixed by Yas also, when we go into these areas where we've just put in towers, we are able to bring in farmers, some Tanzanians, to digital for the first time. We're giving them the financial access for the first time. So this is really our aim, and we know we've done a lot, but there's so much else we can do. So after that inclusion, how do you move them from stage A to stage B? Hence, that is the future we're looking at.
Okay, so looking again at the journey that Yas has had in the Tanzanian market, in the year 2001, I believe Tigo merged with Zantel, and then in 2022, Arjan bought the telco, and then in 2024 you've rebranded to Yas. Again, when that merger happened, there needed to be a bit of market explanation. Those who were using Zantel, those who were using Tigo, how would the future look like, how would the operations look like? Now can you tell us, now with this rebranding, which has come, I believe, 2 years after Asian bought the company, and then also 3 years after the merger,
What do the operations look like for those for the clients here in mainland, but also in the Isles in Zanzibar?
I mean, when the merge and then the acquisition happened, you cannot do too many transformations at the same time. So the decision at the time was to keep the two brands, Tigo and Zantel, and even to create a new one, Tigo Zantel. And it was also very confusing to the public. Are you Tigo, are you Zantel, are you Tigo Zantel, etc. So for us, when the rebranding was announced, we actually embraced it from a brand perspective in Tanzania, because this confusion over the 2 or 3 brands into one was very important. And we value our customer in Zanzibar as much as we value our customer in mainland. They are very important to us. And actually, you mentioned that our office is on the 31st floor here. And when I have guests from Zanzibar coming to my office, I mean, today there's a bit of cloud, so we don't see, but I usually tell them that our office is the only place in mainland Tanzania where we can see Zanzibar. And I tell them, when I come to my office, it is made for me not to forget you. So it's just a reminder that Zantel was very strong in Zanzibar, and it is our duty to make Yas even stronger. So we are working very closely with.
You talked about the investments that have been injected into the telco for the past, I believe the past year, over R1 trillion, into enhancing coverage and quality. What strategic approach do you use when directing investment toward the different services that you have? Because you have quite an expansive area of services that you offer. So when you decide to prioritize different services, what strategic approach do you use in terms of consideration?
So for me, to be very simplistic, because if I tell you, we can spend all day, but for me there is 2 areas where we focus. We want to be able to enable and give access to every Tanzanian. For me, it's the most important, and we have been one of the most active, for example, with UCSAF, the government agency responsible for rural coverage, just to ensure we can accelerate the government agenda to reach as many Tanzanians.
Okay, so now we've talked a bit about connectivity, which is a key factor, I believe, important key factor in any company or any business within the telco space. When it comes to fintech, the value or the number of transactions that have been done here in Tanzania has grown massively. We're now at over 5 billion just last year, from 3 billion in 2019. So that's a significant leap. However, over 30% of transactions fail due to connectivity issues. This is not just in Tanzania, but across the globe. When it comes to connectivity, tell us how Yas is approaching enhancing connectivity when it comes to the transactions in and outside the country, but also how are you fortifying the reach to rural Tanzania, the interior side of the country?
As that is the investment that is there. But the investment is not only on the towers, we are also investing in people. Because on the mobile money side, we have agents who are our partners who actually talk to the customer every day. So we are increasing agents. We're making sure we have agents in all strategic areas to support all the activities that are happening in those areas. So one of the key expansion we've been doing on Mixed by Yas is to go to the rural areas and bring in financial inclusion. We've talked about one of the key things that we do there is to bring in disbursement, because we understand our rural communities are all farmers. Somehow they do farming and they get they take their produce to the AMCOS and they expect to be paid. So creating that ability, creating that process where they can have that and become digital and become financially included is one of the key things that we're making sure we're bringing in everybody. We go to the entrepreneurs. We understand when we talk about the digital economy, we have to have ways of payments. So Lipa kwa Simu is enabling our entrepreneurs have access to their data, first of all, keep records. We understand how hard it is in businesses to keep records. So you have this Lipa kwa Simu, you are able to get your records, you are able to do your planning for your business, and we are also giving you loans for you to also grow your business. So that is also looking at how we bring in everybody into the ecosystem.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, trying to understand, how do you, with the rebranding now specifically, how are you reaching out to those in the interior and explaining to them that, you know, Tigo Pesa is now mixed by Yas, and ensuring that they understand so that, you know, there's not that hesitance to continue using the service?
And it is our excitement starting last week to the future. So to start with, as we've said, the only thing that has changed is the name. Tigo Pesa is now mixed by us, but our services, our products are the same. So that is one of the areas or one of the ways we are doing the communication for them to know that what has changed is that the product is only the name, sorry, but not the product, not the services. So product and services are the same. So this understanding and the ability to deliver the products that we've always, and the promise that we've had with them with making sure we're bringing in the right product, services at the right time continues. So this helps them to know the only change is the name, because everything else is as they're used to. Yeah.
Okay. There are always, you know, questions that within the telecommunication industry in Tanzania, as per regulation, companies that are operating in the country are supposed to list, to be publicly listed at the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Is that a consideration that you, or is that a conversation that you're having, that in the near future, Yas is going to be listed on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange?
I mean, it's definitely under consideration. I think it's important that as part of strategy, we deepen our local engagement. And we also enable Tanzanians to invest in our success. But so far, there is no plan yet to be announced. Okay? And we are currently evaluating these options along with the regulatory framework. And once we are ready, we'll announce to the public on time.
Okay. So maybe if you just list for us, what are the top 3 priorities right now for Yas Tanzania?
I mean, first is to make sure the brand is a success. Okay. You know, rebranding brings a lot of excitement.
What does successful
look success, for example, to ensure that we don't see Tigo on the street for in the next couple of months. I mean, you know, the fintech team has more than 150 wakalas. 200,000 wakalas. A lot of
450,000 merchants.
450,000 merchants. We have more than 150,000 point of sales. We can see Tigo Lusha. So it's a massive work to ensure that the brand goes everywhere in Tanzania and it's accepted. So this is the first priority. And the second priority is to become a true leader in the country. To a smartphone, it kind of changes your life. And we want to make sure that we bring this kind of excitement to every single Tanzanian. Tanzanian needs to have access to smartphone, not only for us to grow the business, but also the government to be able to push more e-government, for people to have access to knowledge, education, and all these things. And what we're seeing is it's actually possible. I mean, 2 of our markets, in Senegal and in Comoros, more than 80% of the population have smartphones. So our aim and our focus to make sure we can connect and enable digital services to 80% of our customers is actually a reality, we can do it. And this for us is the 3 priorities.
Okay. Now from the fintech, what are your top priorities at the moment?
Our priorities are similar, what Jerome has said, but to add is to make sure we have the services, customers are having the right services. We are giving them the products that they're looking for, and the biggest right now that we see in the market that is really exciting and customers really need is the Nivushe Plus, which is our loan portfolio. So we are seeing how do we scale that to make sure everybody is able to get what is right for them. Because our belief is everybody is credit worthy, you just have to make sure you give them the right amount for them to be able to pay back. So scaling that is very key and it's priority, and to make sure also customers are able to make payments with Mixed by Yas anywhere, at any agent, at any merchant in the country.
Okay. Now that you have rebranded, you're now known as Yas, what do you think is the biggest legacy that Tigo Tanzania has left behind, Tigo as Tigo?
I think Tigo has been there for 20 years. So there is a lot of legacy. I believe most of the team here only knew Tigo. And they have a very strong, even me, I worked in other Tigo market before, but for me, I'm going to celebrate my 20 years with Tigo, so even to change the brand was very personal. And it brought a really strong team spirit, the people, and even people who left us, when we meet again, they keep talking about how Tigo was and how it changed their life when they came to work. So for me, there is a legacy of teamwork, but also a legacy in terms of new product and excitement. We were the first operator to launch 4G. We were the first operator, actually we worked with Facebook to translate Facebook into Kiswahili. We were the first to launch the Tigo Pesa app at the time. So we launched a lot of first in the country, and we are very proud. And just recently, 6 months ago, we were the first big operator to launch a fiber to home. And we believe this kind of product are going to really transform the way people access digital. I mean, I'm pretty sure when you go home and you put your phone on hotspot for your kids to watch Netflix or to watch the videos, your bundle goes very fast. And then you're very hungry with your kids. So now with the Tigo fiber, the Yas fiber.
Put some money there.
No, it's going to take time. Now with the Yas fiber, we can offer truly unlimited internet access to homes for the whole family to be able to benefit to this digital transformation.
Okay, and now for the fintech space, we understand that, as I mentioned, so the market share for Yas by Pesa, Yas Mixed by Yas keeps on growing, right? Now, you're now working under a group. You know, luckily I also work at a company that's under one group. What are some of the similar services and products that expectedly might be launched across these markets? Because now you're more unified than ever. So from a fintech perspective, but also you can talk about the broader Yas initiatives.
So, Poki, just to circle back before on the question, I think just to add on Jerome's points, I think the legacy I would say on Mixed by Yas, just in 2 sentences, is innovation and customer centricity. So, a lot of things that we have done, we are really looking at those 2 aspects. How do we innovate to meet customers' needs, anticipate their needs, but also how do we give them solutions that work for them? The self-cares that we brought to the market, how do we make them reverse their own transaction? So those, I would say that is a summary on that. But in terms of what we are doing as a group, I think the biggest aspect is financial payments and financial services and payments. So we've talked about loans. This is something that we are working across the group, also sharing some learnings and improvements that can go faster. So if something has been done somewhere else, instead of starting from scratch, we pick up on some of the learnings and create products faster. So, and also time to market. So that's also very key, where we can get learnings and also products can be developed in one place, but also tweaked to suit the Tanzanian needs or to tweak to suit our customer needs. And that will help us go to market faster. So that's part of the improvement that we're getting from group. But also sharing and also learning from each other. So before we had the group, at one point we were more or less the only operator, and it was hard for us to get that support across. So that is also coming very strongly with being part of the group.
And one of the things, one of our company values, which have been introduced recently, is bold, being bold and boldness. And to give you an example, when we put the strategic plan in Tanzania from the acquisition, there was a program at Action Group level called Data for. And the program of Data for was to put 4G everywhere. It doesn't necessarily make financial sense to put sometime a 4G in a rural area because there is no devices, there is no demand. But we were bold enough to say we have to do it for the benefit of the country. It might not make financial sense on the short term, but if we want to support every Tanzanian to go through the digital transformation, to go through the financial transformation, it is so important for everyone across the country to have access to all the service. And last June, this is when we completed our program in Tanzania to have every single site on 4G. And we are very proud. And I can tell you, where we work for different groups, this kind of being boldness and do those things because they make sense for the country and for the consumer is very important. And being outside the Action Group is something that we might have been a bit more cold in terms of investment. Saying that we had 1,000 towers just over 2 years. When you go more rural Tanzania, it becomes a bit difficult to get all the revenue, but we did it because it's important and it makes sense.
This transformation or this rebranding as an idyllic or a seamless process, but I'm sure it's not a seamless process. Can you share with us what have been some of the challenges that you have faced and continue to face and hopefully looking to overcome?
So one of the biggest challenges is the shareholder wanted the brand to remain secret. And so we have been working for the past 12 to 18 months to rebrand without knowing the brand. This for me, well, I think was the biggest challenge. Because say, okay, you need to change the name on the SMS notification, you need to change the website, but to prepare without knowing the brand, without knowing the colors was actually very difficult. And this for me was a big challenge, but I understood where it came from. When we disclosed the brand to the team and the public, there was so much excitement. And thousand point of presence in the country.
Yeah.
In just our target is to do it over a couple of months. Now the real work starts, and we are working with a lot of companies, a lot of internet companies to support us. All the branding materials have been already dispatched to every corner of Tanzania.
Okay.
So now that we start rebranding, and you will see yellow parasol coming, the boards for Wakas will be changing, and so this is a massive logistic and project.
Yeah. But I think you've maintained the colors, right? Because the yellow, the blue, yeah, that has been maintained.
That is the best part of it.
Yeah.
The same colors that
Okay.
So at least our customers will see the same colors they used to.
Yeah.
The name has changed, but at least if you see blue, if you see yellow, remember it is Yas and Mixed by Yas.
Okay. Now, from the fintech, you're the business of the fintech. What have been like the challenges? Because even I use Yas, and then when I got the message, or even when I send money, then in my mind, I'm like, I'm supposed to get a Tigo Pesa text, and then it's Mixed by Yas. So yeah, to me, I find that it kind of gets a bit of getting used to. What have been the challenges, and also to add on to that, have you got any specific calls or concerns directly from the customers who are venting about this change?
Yes, and we are happy that we are getting this feedback. We are getting our customers reacting to the change, because if they didn't react, then maybe it would be worse. But the fact that we are hearing them and us being the people who listen to our customers, we've gotten a lot of feedback. And the biggest is, I want Pesa. Where is Pesa? Where is my money? Because we are used to synonymous with Pesa. So that is something that, of course, customers will have to get used to. But we are very excited because if you want to bring something new, if you're really giving innovation, there are times when you have something that is completely different from what people are used to. So how do we make sure we get them used to the new name that we have. It is our greatest challenge, but also an exciting point, because the day we'll sit and say, we've cracked it, I can assure you we'll be very excited, and we've had several activities like this in the past, and we've managed to get to a point where our customers are happy, and we are looking forward to that.
So if you may ask, what particularly you as the Chief Officer for Yas by Pesa, Yas by, my goodness, Mixed by Yas, what personally excites you about the future? You know the product, you know the portfolio, what excites you the most?
So what has excited me 14 years ago, fortunately or unfortunately, is the same thing that excites me every day. What is that? The fact that I am leading the changing of people's lives on a daily basis, that I can actually see. That is very exciting. Every product that we bring, most of them are the first products that we're bringing. One of the key things that our strength has been innovation. So we bring in the market and we're like, what is going to happen? I'll give you an example. When we brought Kibubu, or our saving product, into the market, I was seated with my team and they're like, Angelica, this is going to be a very good product. And I'm sitting and I'm like, okay, this is a time where I need to agree with my team, even if I don't believe in the product. But if I'm going to really bring financial inclusion, I need to bring all products to the customers, and they're looking for this product. So I was like, okay, this is not going to be a big product, but guys, let's go. I was surprised. It was to my surprise that it was one of the most well-received products in the market. It's as if customers were waiting for a saving option, something that was contrary to my thoughts, my personal thoughts, not my team. My team was very, but for me that time I was like, no, this is not going to be as big. So launching that product and getting the feedback from customers saying, we wanted this, this is exactly what we needed. I was so happy, and I still see this at every other stage when we are bringing innovation to the market. That excites me.
For you, so we understand you're now holding an interim role, so it means that you have to transition eventually. But still, what excites you?
And what is exciting is, as I mentioned, the new brand comes with as a continuity of a lot of investment we have made. We have been leading 2 years in a row with UCLA, which is an international recognition, but also quarters in a row from the regulator about quality. So this new brand is very exciting to be able to start really pushing on digital services, really showing to to the rest of the Tanzanians who are not using us today, that there is actually a very good quality, to be able for them to test and try and be convinced that actually we have done the right investment and we will keep growing.
So again, with every transition, with every investment made by the private sector, there has to be engagement with the government.
If you could share with us a bit of how you have been engaging with the government through TCRA, through the Ministry of Information and ICT, what have been the engagements, but also the reception by the government of all these changes? You're a very dynamic company. You're a company that's leading the change within this space. Can you share with us that involvement with the government and the engagements?
I mean, we are very much engaged with the government and the different agencies.
Yeah.
We work on our side, and then Angelica on her side. We work with mostly 3 agencies. We work with TCRA, we work with BOT, the Bank of Tanzania, we work with UCSAF around rural coverage, and we have very positive engagement. I think the government under Excellency President Samia trying to really bring foreign investors and make sure that we have a very dynamic investment ecosystem in the country. I've also shown the reason why we invested. I mean, our investors, they will put their money where is the safest to go, and looking at the 1 trillion shilling invested in Tanzania is also going along with the government priorities. We have also engaged with the government in mainland Tanzania and the ministers of ICT, and also in Zanzibar. And we are very close to both of them, and we have a lot of discussion. And when we announced to them the change, we announced to them the reason why the change, they were all very supportive.
Okay, but then again, if you
to plead the government in terms of the regulatory or the business environment in its entirety for it to be improved in certain areas. What do you think are some of those areas that you might recommend?
And one of the good things, for example, on the regulation, the lawmakers and the regulator are always looking and asking the industry. I mean, there is some discussion to have some amendment to the regulation, for example, and we have been part of it. And for us to be able to work together, to grow the ecosystem, to grow the industry with all the stakeholders together. We should not forget that TCRA represents three very important bodies. They represent the government, they represent the industry, but very important is also represent the customers. And working with TCRA on all these things and being included as part of the discussion is actually very important.
Angelica, you were leading a portfolio that plays a significant role in the Tanzanian market, not only for the digital economy, but also we have many startups that are fintech based that are entering into the market. And then we understand that the government is also trying to create a conducive regulatory environment for these startups to thrive. You can be potentially an investor in helping or working with some of these startups. I just want you to share with us your approach in terms of working with locally founded and managed fintech startups in the country.
You're very right. As I rightly stated, right now we're really a platform bringing in a lot of people. So we're already working with a number of local fintechs that we are supporting, but we're also looking at a role where we do much more than just bringing them as part of the transactions that we do. So last year we did roll out a competition where we were able to get about 200 different startups to present their ideas, and we took about 4 of them, and we've been working with those startups to build them as well. So we understand the position we're in is very important in order to bridge the gap, but also bringing in more innovation. So as a company, we have a strategy where we're bringing in small fintechs that we can nurture and also work with.
Okay, so as we're winding up, Jerome, what would be your message to Yas Tanzania customer stakeholders?
They should see the rebranding as a continuity of whatever we have done. Again, as I mentioned, we are very and extremely proud of our legacy. To have been the first mobile operator, to have bring so many innovation. And for us, the rebranding to Yas come at the point where we have closed our investment, our massive investment, and it's a time to really enjoy the services and the quality we brought with all this investment.
And how do you see the future of the telecommunication industry in Tanzania moving forward?
I mean, what I've noticed for the past 2-3 years, we have all been growing. We hope we are growing a bit faster, but so it means that from an industry perspective, the current ecosystem is very positive. And not only for us, because growing means also the tax collection have grown significantly. So we benefit from it. The government also benefit from our growth. And so far the dynamic is actually very positive and exciting.
Okay, so from the fintech, what does the future hold for your business? But also what your last words to all the customers that you have?
So to our customers, we are excited that we are still working together. We are still listening to you and giving you products that suit your daily lives. To our partners, our colors, we continue to partner with you because what we want to do is still something that we need you to work together. But in terms of the future, we are looking at our innovation spirit does not end. It actually is enhanced with Mixed by Yas. So we are looking at innovation. There's a lot of products that we have in the pipeline that will be coming soon to our customers. So we're excited to be able to continue changing lives, to continue bringing in relevant solutions to our customers and our partners, and to continue leading this market.
Okay. And on that note, you were with me, Mpoki Thompson. I was with Yas Tanzania Top Management, the Interim Chief Executive Officer, Jerome Albu, but also the Chief Officer for Mixed by Yas. The future is exciting. The future is Yas. Until next time, bye-bye.